Feels like yesterday did this video, October 10th, 2020. Crazy. Around 4 years ago, ADA sitting at 10 cents. And I want to bring this up right off the bat because I know people are out there like, why are you like consistently bullish on Cardano? Well, last cycle at this moment, around October 2020, ADA from that moment, as people probably thinking I'm crazy then doing bullish videos on ADA from around 10 cents went to see bull market gains of around 3,000%. And that was in a moment where ADA was down like over 90% from all-time high and looked like it was just not going to do anything in a moment where Bitcoin, if you zoom out on a Bitcoin chart, was kind of entering its bull cycle, right? It was getting ready to really just take off. Look at this October 2020 green candle, getting ready to approach all-time highs. And everybody's just like, what is going on with ADA? In this video, I'm going to kind of just answer that question. Why? Why bullish on ADA right now? And we're gonna zoom out, we're gonna zoom in. So please hit the subscribe, hit the like on the way in, and let's do this. I posted this yesterday. I just said 6 months of consolidation will end at the drop of a hat. Bitcoin gives no warnings. More of a Bitcoin post, but somebody commented and said, what is your view about Cardano not following? And this is a general sentiment right now. People are just like, Cardano's not following. Cardano's not doing it. Cardano's not bullish. It's just lagging. It's weak. This cycle is different. Last cycle was so much better. And the thing is, if you just take a moment to look at the data, it just can't be said. That can't be said, at least right now, because when we start comparing where we are in this cycle, and here we are with this purple line, historically altcoin season. Here's the yellow line, Bitcoin halving. Here's altcoin season. And I know I talk about this all the time, but it's so important. There's still so many comments flooding in, that people, I don't think they see this or recognize this, not even with just Cardano, but a ton of other altcoins, the crypto markets in general. People want all-time highs right now, and I have news for you. That's not where we are in the cycle yet, and that's a very good thing. So here is October, when I did that video, October 2020 or so, just to give you a sense, like exactly where we are. We're right around here, and this was like the first week of November. We're like right around there at this moment, this cycle. And just look at this. From all-time high last cycle, two cycles ago, to that November area, right around 10 cents, ADA down 92%. I know I do this all the time. This past cycle, all-time high to where ADA is right now, this moment, this cycle, 88%. ADA is doing better at this moment, this cycle, than it was last cycle. Before we dive into the charts and really discuss this, I just posted this before recording. Cardano is 10x stronger than last cycle at this moment. Owned by community, IOG burned keys, Hydra scaling, higher market cap position, which we kind of just looked at, right? Massive partnerships, unmatched L1 security. When it comes to crypto, when it comes to L1s, the security that Cardano has is next level. And this is because it took a slower approach in building. DeFi ecosystem survived the bear as a top 10. So just posted that. And we can kind of just work that onto the charts now. These are fundamental things that make me bullish on ADA. And this has been kind of part of my investment thesis. Cardano is built differently. And as a value investor, I think from an altcoin perspective, it offers some really strong selling points, right? So better positioned this cycle compared to last cycle. What I want to just throw out there is this. And then we're going to kind of zoom in on the daily, and we'll further dig into this scenario of ADA getting ready just to break out. And we'll also look at if it doesn't do exactly what it did last cycle. Is that okay? Like, what can we anticipate? What can we look for? Could there be more downside first? And I want to start, though, on this chart. So we've identified this area right around November for being where ADA is this cycle. We've identified that ADA is actually outperforming. It's not even down as much as it was. Also, 10 cents at this moment last cycle, this time, and I just put this in that tweet basically, right around 35 cents. ADA is, from a macro perspective, growing in value, and we've just survived a bear and consolidation. Now, I have this, like you see this 189 days. This is because I wanted to speculate on, all right, if ADA is going to break out and really start breaking out. And actually, I just posted this just to give you an idea, the dollar talking point. I said Cardano can easily be back above $1 between now and December, and some people will be flabbergasted. It can happen fast. Then $5 to $10 will finally look more realistic to them. The reason I tweeted that or posted that was because I was messing around with this chart. And this is what happens in crypto in general. This isn't just Cardano. If you look at where we were this time last cycle compared to now, remember, beginning of November-ish, end of October, we take this bars pattern. If ADA gets a similar breakout, just to this first swing high, let's just take it to this first swing high, it doesn't matter. And we bring it over to ADA right now, and you can see this like 189-day window or so. If ADA were to do exactly what it did last cycle, you can see ADA. I mean, we're looking at ADA approaching $1 in December. This could happen sooner, and it could happen later. But this is how fast it can happen. I did this video. I'm not showing a clip, but this was October 10th, 2020, 10 cents. It must seem crazy if you're back then at 10 cents being like, ADA's going to $3 this cycle. And then it did. And it happened very fast. And so when you look at an ADA chart and you're like zoomed out and you do look at that move, what it looked like on the weekly, and then you actually overlay on this chart, if crypto enters a parabolic bull cycle, if we get like a year of up and a year of bulls and breakouts, crypto is going to be going crazy. And Cardano likely with it. Remember, I think Cardano is even more well positioned than last cycle. So this is what that speculation looks like. But let's dig further into even the short-term price action. And after we speculate on this, I'll dive into the charts a little bit more. We'll really zoom in on the daily just to kind of glance at what we're looking at. And actually, I wanted to mention one thing on the weekly. Can we just talk about this MACD that just happened? I know I discussed it, I think, when it happened, but don't forget this happened. Don't forget we've just reset this weekly chart on the momentum oscillators. Look at the higher lows on the RSI, the slower moving momentum oscillator. This is exactly what we want to see. And if we even look at kind of last cycle at this moment, remember the September, October, November area, look at that. That's exactly what we were seeing there. In this moment, we have even more upside than we did back then. So the RSI is looking very nice for ADA. Now let's go and zoom in on this ADA chart. Here we go. The yellow is kind of what we just speculated on. The velocity in which $1 can kind of be in play is right there. That's what it could look like. And you even see on the chart from where we are, maybe it dips a little bit. You see in yellow, it dips a little bit, like 30 cents. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it breaks out now. But there's that comparison. And then what I also did was I just said, you know what if crypto is going to continue falling a little bit, consolidate a little bit? What if Q4 doesn't play out like as bullish as everybody thinks it's going to? I always like to anticipate those scenarios. It doesn't mean, in my view, that the crypto bull market is not in play. I think what it could potentially mean is a super cycle is even more in play if crypto is going to continue consolidating. And all I did was I took the bars pattern once again, but I just took it from back here where ADA was consolidating and then finally broke out. But this last little dip after kind of hitting that bear market low, getting the bounce, and then falling again, it's kind of similar looking in terms of the structure of it as right here, right? Bear market low, getting the bounce, there's some hope there, and then it just fails and falls. That's what that could look like, right? It's just good idea to anticipate. ADA is at 35 cents right now. There's no guarantee we're breaking up. Crypto is going to break up this week. It could be a red week. Who knows? But anticipating downside scenarios always, I think, very helpful. But even in that scenario, if ADA did that, look at ADA can finally make its run into the bull cycle and even approach $1, not even that much longer after what we just speculated. So that's ADA zoomed in with a couple speculative scenarios. But let's really talk about this now. What's ADA doing? Well, first let me point out a couple things on the RSI, the slower moving momentum oscillator right here. Same as the weekly we just looked at. Look at the higher lows. This is good on the short term. This isn't a guarantee, but that's some nice higher low action. We're going into a new week. Tomorrow's Monday. Who knows if there's going to be some manipulation driving markets down and this doesn't play out. But on the short term, ADA is actually primed for some type of move. to the upside, maybe to test the 200-day moving average this week. I'm talking about 42, 43 cents this week. That would be a very nice move for ADA because it's a very important macro move. You see that 42 cent area, and then we go back to the weekly just to give you an idea. Let me zoom in just a bit so you can see this. But up here, 47 cents is, right around 47 cents is that 50-week moving average. Incredibly important area for ADA. Right now, ADA is actually still below the 20-week moving average. Another important area needs to break above 38 cents. So a move to 42 cents, you can see, will be really kind of testing those two macro moving averages. And that's kind of very much in play if we look at the momentum oscillators for ADA. Here's the RSI. Here's the slower moving momentum oscillator, exactly what we want to see for some type of breakout to the upside. Not a guaranteed breakout, but it's oversold. This quicker moving oscillator oversold right now. And you can even open up the daily RSI or MACD, and you can just see a little bit of consolidation upwards with this histogram starting to turn upwards. So as we go into the new week, it is 100% in play a breakout to the upside. But I want to just mention something. And this is where things just become, you have to, I shouldn't say you have to, but I have to sit here and I have to anticipate downside always. We have the US dollar index was recently breaking out. We're looking for a lower high on that chart. We have traditional markets. Here's S&P. How are these things going to be trading going into this new week? It is so important when we're trying to just gauge what could happen next for ADA. I just talked about the upside scenario. It's there. It's in play. Maybe it begins tonight, but maybe it doesn't. Notice where we are on even the daily chart. So short term, ADA right now testing the 50-day moving average. It's not even, we still have almost 7 hours on the daily chart to see where this daily candle closes. But most importantly, we need to close above the 20. The daily's nice, but we need to close above both. The 20-day moving average around 36.5 cents. So that move for ADA, it's not a big move. We're talking about like 2 to 3% to get there, but that's on the short term what ADA needs to do. Otherwise, we're just going to be continuing to kind of just test this like lower trend line area, right? And the next support to the downside is around 33.5 cents. If ADA is going to see rejection there, or maybe we consolidate into the trend line, right? Maybe it's just struggling to break above the 20 and the 50, and it's just like sideways into this lower trend line. There's no guarantee we get an immediate breakout, but I think it's definitely a good idea to anticipate a move to the downside to that support area. And if we go back to the weekly, ultimately rejection at this 20-week moving average. So we have to just be ready for all scenarios. But all in all, everybody, when you start zooming out on Cardano right now, I think, and this is just my opinion, and it was my opinion back here at 10 cents. I think ADA is looking very bullish. I think it's going to perform well. And I'm not sitting here saying it's going to see 3,000% gains again. But as I posted in the tweet or in the post, $5 to $10 ADA will finally look more realistic to people that don't think it's realistic. This might look more realistic at $1. So these are just some of my thoughts, kind of just an update of where we are in the Cardano cycles. And I know I haven't been doing Cardano content as much, so I'm going to definitely try and sprinkle some in here and there just to do updates. I'm still bullish on ADA. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, everybody. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.